Trail cameras have a way of revealing things that are truly unbelievable. Terrifying monsters, bone-chilling entities. No one was ever meant to see these moments. On the 9th of June, 2022, a farmer from Nigeria had set up a trail camera near his house. He thought someone had been trespassing into his land, so he wanted to capture the evidence. But instead, the camera captured this. A dark entity appeared that was human-like in form, but it was crawling around in a strange, animalistic way. After a few moments, another one appeared from behind the tree. After seeing the footage, the farmer was really shocked and confused because he'd never seen these entities in the village. So he planned to show this footage to the elder of the village to track them down. Mysterious pale creature. Trail cams are great for capturing wildlife in action, but sometimes they capture the most unexplainable things. In 2019, when a wildlife researcher had set up in the Białowieża forest in Poland, a pale, bony head appeared from behind a tree trunk. It looked terrifyingly rake-like with dark, hollow eyes. Then, it suddenly looked directly at the camera and hid behind the tree, as if it knew it was being recorded. The video had not only terrified the researcher, but it also filled him with curiosity, making him wonder if he had indeed captured a rake. Strange forest figure. You're about to see the most unsettling video ever. In 2022, a trail camera was recording deer in Sherwood Forest in England, but it captured something else in the background too. A strange glowing form appeared in the woods. It had no clear form and kept flickering in and out. At first, it could have been dismissed as a light flare or even a glitch, but it wasn't either of those. They stopped eating and started staring in that direction. What do you think it was? A ghost or some kind of forest spirit? Terrifying forest monster. On the night of October 28, 2023, a hunter named Daniel Mercer had set up his camera in the most dense part of Pine Barrens Forest in New Jersey. He wanted to track animals for a prized catch. But what the camera revealed made him leave the forest immediately. At around 1:27 a.m., a pale, bony figure crawled into view. Its face was too deformed and terrifying. The creature kept looking around like a predator hunting for prey. Then it eventually crawled out of view. Daniel didn't want to risk becoming the mysterious monster's prey, which is why he left after seeing the footage. Massive reptilian. This pan-tilt-zoom security cam footage revealed the horrors that might be hiding from our eyes. In 2021, a camera placed near a park in Delaware recorded a massive reptilian creature that came out of the trees. Its head was oddly shaped, and there was a huge hump behind its shoulders. It even had a long, lizard-like tail. The way it crouched low while running made it seem like it was trying to stay unnoticed, but the camera caught it clearly. After a watchman reviewed the footage later and showed it to authorities, they sealed off the area for a search, but couldn't track it down. Monstrous visitor. Did this security camera capture a real skinwalker? A homeowner from Texas had shared this bone-chilling video on TikTok in 2023, claiming he got a visit from something terrifying in the middle of the night. Creature was moving slowly toward his house. Its limbs were long with massive paws that looked strange and disproportionate. The face seemed canine, but it wasn't any dog or wolf because its expressions looked demonic. It was almost as if a skinwalker had taken the form of a dog. However, the homeowner gave no further context or update, so the authenticity of this encounter remains uncertain. forest ghost. The Indonesian YouTuber Scarer is known for sharing scary forest videos, but this day truly tested his courage. When he set up his tent and trail camera, the camera captured a terrifying entity. The pale, ghostly entity was watching from the woods. And it was staring directly at him. He didn't notice it at that time, but later he felt like something was wrong. The forest had grown too quiet, and that's when he finally saw the ghost behind him.
Astagfirullahaladzim.
It was too close this time, and what's even creepier is that it was following him too. He was terrified but tried not to panic. Maybe that's why. The ghost let him go, and he was able to escape the forest.
Astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullahaladzim.
Bone-chilling entity. In 2024, a trail camera set up by a farmer captured something unexplainable near a ditch in rural Montana. The footage showed an extremely pale figure with long hair and dark eyes, crouched close to the ground. It was digging into the mud with its bare hands, almost like it was trying to unearth something hidden, or maybe searching for food beneath the soil. The scene was unsettling, and it was definitely what the farmer hadn't expected when he placed the camera by that ditch. He had set it up to capture animals that came for water, but instead, it revealed this mysterious insect. This strange creature was discovered by a group of Japanese researchers who'd gone to Yakushima Forest in Kagoshima, Japan. They were studying the organisms that live in primary forests and wanted to document them. There, they came across this creature that looked like a mutated praying mantis. It was green, with a massive head, and far too large for a normal insect. The researchers documented it, thinking it might be a newly evolved species. However, they couldn't find other similar creatures in the rest of the forest, which was really strange. Rake sighting. This trail camera might have recorded an actual rake. It was captured in 2023 when a researcher named Thomas Keene had set up cameras in the woods of northern Maine to conduct conservation studies for monitoring animal population. But instead of wildlife, the footage captured this rake-like creature crawling on all fours. Its skin was pale and its limbs unusually slender and long. For a brief moment, it stopped and stared directly at the camera. Then it crawled away and vanished, leaving Thomas shaken and unsure if there was indeed a real rake living in the woods. Forest horrors. A paranormal investigator named Rahim bin Osman from Malaysia had heard rumors about a remote forest, but nobody dared to confirm them. So he went during the day and set up a trail camera. When night came, the camera caught not one, but multiple terrifying entities. First, a pale, ghostly figure and a terrifying dark creature walked across the field. Soon more appeared. Each one was more terrifying than the last. When Rahim saw all these entities coexisting there, he decided the forest was too dangerous. Even with his experience, he knew it was wiser to leave them alone. Backyard creature. In 2021, a software engineer was working from his home's backyard. It was past 2 a.m. when he noticed a face staring at him from above the wall. At first, he thought it was just his neighbor, until he looked closer. The face was massive and hairy. Although the video wasn't very clear because of how dark it was, the creature appeared to seem animalistic. It kept watching him for some time before running off. He wasn't sure what creature it was, but he thought it looked like a werewolf. And ever since that night, he fears the creature might return. Mysterious figure. No one knows what this security camera captured. On the 24th of May, 2025, at around 8 p.m., a homeowner in Delaware checked his garage camera after hearing footsteps in his backyard. What he saw left him terrified. A pale, human-like figure appeared out of nowhere. It looked smoke-like and not fully solid. However, it was real because the camera had even detected the figure, which could only happen when there's indeed an object in front of it. After some time, it dematerialized completely. The homeowner had never been so terrified and set up more cameras around his house for security. Zombie mystery. This terrifying video will give you nightmares. On October 9th of 2024, a homeowner in Delaware had set up a trail cam near his house for security reasons. He thought there were wild animals roaming that area. But what the camera caught was no animal. It looked just like a zombie. It had a terrifying face. And its clothes were torn apart. It even seemed like there was no skin on it. When the homeowner watched the footage the next day, he wasn't really sure if it was a real zombie or just someone in a scary costume. But either way, he was terrified. Entity from nightmare. In New Orleans, Louisiana, a group of friends were driving home from a party around 1 in the morning. That's when they saw an entity on the road that looked like it had crawled out of a nightmare. It was a pale, humanoid figure. Its limbs were long and strangely disproportional. The entity was frozen in one place. The friends slowed down just enough to record it, but kept driving. They didn't want to encounter whatever it was, as that road was right next to a cemetery, and they thought the creature might have crawled out of there. Startled deer. Some wildlife service officers were monitoring the animals in the Adirondack Park in North America. That's when their camera captured something that they haven't been able to explain. A deer suddenly began shaking its head, like it was trying to shake something off. Suddenly, one of its antlers snapped off. It would have seemed like a natural process, but the way it ran off right after that was too strange. The deer bolted like something invisible had started to chase it, and the officers thought that maybe that invisible force might be responsible for breaking its antlers too. Crossing over. In 2022, a group of miners were working in the Batu Arang area of Malaysia. Those who stayed late began hearing heavy footsteps and growls every night right before 12 a.m. When they checked the security camera, this is what they saw. The footage showed mysterious pale figures moving across the site. The shapes weren't very solid and defined, but the forms clearly moved like they were galloping. When they saw it, the miners believed these had to be some otherworldly creatures, like hellhounds that had crossed into ours. Mysterious pale creature. A decade ago, when an American tourist was documenting his journey in a remote forest near the village of Ubud, Bali, he captured something horrifying. He noticed a strange movement in the distance and began recording from a safe spot. It was a tall, pale humanoid figure walking slowly. The creature's movements were completely unnatural, because although it was upright, its movements were very jerky. Although he didn't dare get closer to confirm what it was, he still believed it was some sort of cryptid. But if the footage had been clearer and more detailed, we might have known for sure. Wildlife hunt. Here's a video that shows nature raw and unfiltered. In 2022, a wildlife photographer named Salam Nu from Oman captured this moment near a riverbank. A hungry owl had landed there searching for food, but what it didn't know was that it would end up becoming prey instead. A viper that was lurking in the grass suddenly charged at it. The two clashed in a sudden struggle. The snake tried to hold on, but the owl freed itself. Within seconds, it managed to fly away, and the viper's hunt failed. rabbit clash. Out in the wild. It's not just a clash between predator and prey. Sometimes even the same kind turn on each other. In 2021, a trail cam in Dorset, England, captured 2 wild rabbits locked in a tense battle. According to experts, rabbits can clash like this over food, territory, or even to prove dominance. And this moment displayed one of those rivalries. Bear parasite. The following video was recorded in 2020 and uploaded on the YouTube channel Cool Green Science, run by the Nature Conservancy. It shows a bear that can be walking as a massive tapeworm gets dragged behind it. The worm was extremely long, almost unbelievable to watch. It stops for a moment to scratch its back before continuing to walk. Bears can get tapeworms when they eat infected meat or fish. And some tapeworms can grow over 30 feet inside an animal. By the looks of this one, it seemed to be at least 20 feet long. Prehistoric sighting. In 2018, a farmer from Colyum Valley, Australia, claimed to have recorded this mysterious creature before dusk. It was massive and moving slowly across the land. The creature had scales on its back, a thick body nearly 7 feet long, and a powerful tail that swung as it walked. The shape reminded him of a prehistoric reptile, maybe even a dinosaur. He shared the footage with the villagers, and one of them shared a video of a similar creature that he'd seen near his field. After seeing it, they realized that something truly mysterious was lurking in their village. Jersey Devil. Many people claim to have seen a terrifying monster in the Pine Barrens Forest of New Jersey. Shockingly, their details often matched, which made the stories harder to ignore. They described a strange hybrid creature with horns like a goat and a bizarre body shaped almost like a kangaroo. Most said they had first followed a shrieking sound in the woods. That was when they saw it and ran for their lives. When authorities heard about the stories, they dismissed the sightings as paranoia and said the sounds were only frogs. But those people believed they'd seen the Jersey Devil. What do you think? Bigfoot sighting. 3 years ago, a hiker named Brooks Collins spotted a massive dark figure in the forest during the day. Thinking it was a Bigfoot, he set up cameras at night hoping to catch it again. That's when he managed to record this footage. A similar dark form was moving among the woods. At first, the figure was hard to see, but after enhancing the footage, he realized it was the same creature he'd seen previously. It was extremely tall and walked upright with a steady gait. Everything about its appearance pointed towards a Bigfoot, which made Brooks think he'd captured the most unbelievable sightings ever. Unidentified creature. This might be the creepiest video on the internet. The only info I could find was that it was first uploaded in 2010. It shows a strange figure crawling in a dark place that was hard to identify. From one angle, its face looked human-like. From the other, it looked reptilian. Its back looked dark. Just as the creature lifted off the ground, the footage cut off, leaving everyone with endless questions. But if any of you knows more about this footage, share it in the comments below. Wildlife trouble. Trail cameras are placed to capture wildlife, but this one ended up at the mercy of the animal it was meant to observe. On the 30th of April 2012, a forestry worker named Michael Muller recorded this in Yellowstone National Park in the US. The video showed a large bear trying to break the trail. Despite its strength, the bear could not break it apart. So Michael was able to retrieve the camera safely and share the footage online. Werewolf encounter. Last year, as a hiker named Olivia Charlotte was walking through Aokigahara Forest in Japan, she accidentally took the wrong route. It was really dark, which made it difficult to find her way out. That's when she suddenly saw this scary wolf-like creature. It had dark fur and sharp teeth. The thought of encountering a wild animal was bad enough. But what terrified her more was that wolves were not supposed to exist in this forest. The creature didn't charge at her, and she ended up escaping it. But since no wolves live there, could it mean she had encountered a werewolf? Demonic entity. 2 years ago, a hiker set out to explore the Gorontalo forest in Indonesia. But on the first night there, he deeply regretted the trip. He was just setting up his tent when he spotted this nightmarish creature on a tree branch. The entity was covered in black hair and its eyes seemed to be glowing. It had horns on its head, and when he zoomed in, he noticed it was eating something with clawed hands. He didn't even want to imagine what it was eating, so he backed away quietly and decided to leave the forest at dawn. Mysterious tall figure. No one really knew what two brothers saw in Hoosier National Forest during their vacation. At around 11 p.m., they started hearing growing sounds from the woods. They thought it was just an animal. But when they went to check, they saw something else entirely. A tall figure was moving between the trees. Its skin looked dark, almost gray, and it was walking with a steady gait. The brothers were shocked because it was not a Bigfoot either. Its limbs were far too long and slender to be a Bigfoot. So, could it have been a lizard man, an alien, or something far more terrifying? Shocking footage. The following video has taken the internet by storm. A street security camera in Manchester, England, captured a person walking down the street. And it's pretty clear what made this so disturbing. There didn't appear to be a head above the person's shoulders. Everything else in the video looked normal, with no glitches or distortions at all. The uploader also mentioned that the person simply walked down the street and never reappeared. So no one has been able to identify the person or understand how such a thing was even possible. Pale humanoid. An off-duty police officer was driving late at night in Oregon while returning from a visit to his family. The highway was empty when suddenly, a pale figure darted across the road right in front of his car. Its shape was clearly human, but its color looked unnaturally pale. And its sudden appearance made no sense. The moment lasted only a few seconds, but it was enough to leave him shaken. Even after reviewing the footage later, he couldn't explain what the human-like figure really was. Forest giant. This next clip left many viewers stunned. It was uploaded on the YouTube channel Sunny Vader Into the Wild. The uploader shares her adventures in the Canadian woods. This time, his trail camera captured something she never would have expected. A massive dark form appeared between the trees. Although the creature was too dark to see its creature clearly, it seemed to be peeking right at the camera. What made this sighting even more shocking was that there were no apes in this part of the woods, which is why he believed it to be Bigfoot. Howling wolf. This trail cam footage was uploaded by a wildlife videographer in 2023 from Algonquin Forest in Canada. It shows a lone wolf howling at night. Wolves often howl to communicate with their pack, but if you look at this wolf closely, you might notice that its body language was different. It showed unease as it kept looking around, almost as if it was seeing something we could not. The videographer later said in a post, couldn't shake the feeling that it was reacting to an unseen presence. What do you think it was seeing? Terrifying legs. In 2022, a security camera on Maple Street in Toronto, Canada, recorded something beyond explanation. The watchman of the area had decided to check the footage after noticing that every night at sharp 10 p.m., the dogs would get agitated and barked without stopping. What the camera revealed was bone-chilling. Two strange legs appeared moving down the street. They looked hoof-like and walked steadily, but there was nothing above them. No physical body at all. The watchman who saw the footage felt a mix of fear, confusion, and disbelief, because he truly had no idea what he had just seen. Shocking sighting. On May 17th, 2023, an ecologist in Utah set up a trail camera. One night, the motion sensor went off and started recording, but what it detected was no ordinary animal. A small creature with a long head and tail quickly moved across the field. It wasn't very big. But what shocked her was that it resembled a velociraptor, a dinosaur that lived millions of years ago. The discovery was so huge for her that she planned to show the clip to authorities, because this could prove the return of prehistoric creatures. Mysterious white figure. A forest ranger in Oregon had placed a trail camera to monitor illegal logging. For days, nothing unusual showed up, until one night, the camera captured a truly mysterious sight. A tall figure suddenly emerged from the woods and ran past the lens. Its body seemed wrapped in strange white robes that floated around it. Now, it could either have been a ghostly spirit from the forest, or just a person performing sorcery or dark rituals in secret. Some people often hide in remote spots for such evil acts, so it could be one of those people. But the truth still remains uncertain. Unbelievable sighting. When a hunter had gone to the Klamath National Forest in California, he'd expected to catch deer. Instead, he ended up recording the most unbelievable videos ever. A Bigfoot appeared from behind a huge boulder, and it was holding something in its hand.
Look what I got here!
It was a mini Bigfoot. Turns out, this was a parent carrying its little one in its arms. It was protectively holding it as it quickly walked away and disappeared from sight. It looked like it was trying to hide the little Bigfoot from the hunter, because he couldn't find it again. Wolf mischief. In Yellowstone, a trail camera was set up by Wildlife Protection Solutions to monitor the forest. One day, some wolves came across it. At first, they sniffed around, curious about the strange new object that must have smelled of humans. Wolves are intelligent and cautious. They often investigate anything unusual in their territory, but soon, one of them grabbed the camera with its jaws and ran off with it. After a few moments, it tossed it aside. Maybe the wolves had seen it as an intruder, which is why they decided to eliminate it. Creepy crawling entity. Karen Holloway, a homeowner from Dallas, Texas, shared this unsettling footage from her doorbell camera. A dark, human-like figure was crouching in the parking lot, but it was facing upward. What's even more disturbing is that it was crawling in that strange position. Suddenly, it stood up and walked out of sight. Karen was so unsettled that she asked her neighbors the next day if they thought it was just a person, but they didn't have a clue, which is why she finally posted the clip online for answers. So, what do you think about it? Bear encounter. This video shows how quickly one can turn into a bear's prey. It was recorded in Island Park in Idaho, near Yellowstone National Park. A motion-activated night vision camera was set up to capture wildlife in the area. That's when a black bear wandered into view. Then in an instant, it roared and lunged toward the lens. Just as quickly as it had displayed a glimpse of its speed and power, the bear turned away and disappeared into the dark woods. Now it's time for the most shocking moments captured on camera. In Nairobi, Kenya, a rogue lioness had been wandering the streets. One night around 10 p.m., CCTV captured it leaping into a residential area. Just a few minutes later, it jumped back out and walked away, this time holding something in its mouth which looked like a small animal. The dog's owner, Sylvia Wami, said that Hasi, along with her twin named Laser, had been part of her family for 2 years, and all it took was a few minutes to lose one of them.
When it came, it stood somewhere around here and jumped. These ones are the footprints. 10 minutes were not over. Just like that, we lost our dog.
Wildlife was common in the area, but she'd never expected a lioness to take away something so precious from her. After the incident, the local authorities said they would take measures to prevent such moments.